Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Snetterton Farm. This is episode number 13, and welcome back. Glad to have you back here on the YouTube channel. So we are picking up with a brand new game day. This is game day number 15. We are continuing to make progress here on our 24 game day challenge here on Snetterton Farm, and let me tell you, it has been just a sheer joy to play this map. This has really been an incredible experience, and I am so thankful to have the opportunity not only to play this map but also to participate in this challenge. I probably would have never taken the initiative or even thought about doing a 24 game day challenge or 24 game day season play on any map, let alone certainly this map. So I'm not going to say that this is going to become the new norm for me. Probably quite the contrary. I don't know if I would ever really venture into doing another 24 game day per season challenge. Obviously, I haven't completed, this challenge, so there's always that opportunity for me to really lack the desire, lack the drive, and such to finish a map out. I absolutely love this map, and so if something were to happen where I chose not to finish the map, then obviously it's not going to be due to the map. It would just be because maybe the 24 game day challenge. It's not, it's not difficult, but it's also not super easy as well. And so anyway, I'm happy to be playing it. I do want to let everyone know that I am going to be starting a brand new project or a brand new series coming up very, very soon. And yeah, so that'll be something for you to stay tuned for. I'm not going to spoil it and tell you what it is right now. It is not what I had initially planned to do. In other words, it wasn't the map project that I planned to do. That map project has some problems, to be quite honest, and it also is not going to be available to the general public in its form. And so, having said all of that, and kind of making the promise that I made sort of a long time ago to really only play maps and use mods that are generally available to each and all of you. So I'm going to basically stick to my commitment, my promise for doing that. I know that many of you absolutely would not care. Actually, I did poll a few of my subscribers and sort of asked them, I'm like, what do you think if I had the opportunity to play a map? But like I said, the map has some problems sort of related to the Seasons mod. I know I have every confidence that those issues will get worked out, but I think you'll enjoy the map that I do have planned. Now, I've got Billy Bob and Jack both working today. Billy Bob here is planting sorghum there in field number 5, and Jack, we met Jack down at the big field that we probably will plant corn in at some point before we get too far deep into the spring. We'll probably plant corn on that, and that may be what we choose to feed the BGA with, if we choose to do the BGA. If we don't, then obviously it will just be a cornfield that we will harvest and bring up to the main farm. So I thought I was done with fertilizing, but I realized that our row crop seeder, which is what we're going to use here in just a few minutes, does not do fertilizer, so it will not seed and fertilize at the same time. So basically, to compensate for that, we are going to go ahead and spread granular fertilizer or solid fertilizer out on these two fields here, fields number 2 and fields number 3. And these fields are where we are going to plant our sugar beets. So we are going to do sugar beets. We're only going to do sugar beets as far as root crops go. We're not going to do potatoes. We will do sugar beets, and most likely we will rent the large sugar beet harvester to be able to knock these fields out in quick fashion, just because doing it the other way with the smaller equipment is a bit slow. And not that I have an issue with doing things slow and everything, but I kind of think that maybe just in keeping my own sanity and keeping things a bit fresh, keeping things fun for me. I haven't really had the opportunity to use the large sugar beet and potato harvesters in 2017. I think we might have used them very briefly on, let me think, what did we maybe use those on? Maybe on either on Pine Cove, I think maybe on Pine Cove, or maybe Stevie's Goldcrest Valley edit before I stopped that series. But anyway, we will most likely rent that because we can do that in just simply one day and get that done, get the sugar beets in. And of course the sugar beets is what we will use to handle our pig food needs and everything. To date we have yet to get the pig food mixer up and running. We do need to do that. I do want to showcase that just so that in case anyone is new to the pig food mixer. As a matter of fact, I know that a couple of my subscribers have asked specific questions around how do you do the pig food mixing stations and stuff like that. So we'll definitely cover that so we can sort of help to educate and encourage folks to use some of those resources, use some of those tools and everything on their farms, on their virtual farms. So stay tuned for that. So anyway, hope you all are having a wonderful week, and hope everyone had a great weekend. And I've kind of lost track of when episodes are supposed to air. I know at one time I was pretty good at being able to sort of say, well, this episode's going to air on Friday, so I hope you're having a great Friday. Of course, sometimes I said it was Friday when it was actually Thursday or Wednesday or whatever. I'm only human, and I do sort of make mistakes. But I have been, like I said, I have been working on getting another series, getting another map prepped for getting a Let's Play going. And it is going to be completely different. I mean, I'm sort of turning everything upside down as far as how I've normally done Let's Play series and such. Again, I'm not going to reveal anything at this particular point in time. It will all be clear to you in due time, and everyone will sort of find out at the same time just how we're going to do things, what map it's going to be, and all of that stuff. So we are going to now, I don't know, earlier, just a few minutes ago, maybe a few minutes ago, you might have seen in the upper right hand corner of the screen that it's talking about the sheep pallet. The wool pallet was full. Now this is supposed to be an auto selling pallet mechanism, and we are going to take advantage of that just simply because we're going to have ample opportunity to sell wool pallets and stuff on the next map and certainly future maps. But since Stevie has this put in there, we're going to take advantage of that, and of course we'll just sort of storyline it as if Billy Bob or Jack is handling that for us. And so it's rather great to have, obviously, to have the sale of the wool and everything to help compensate our money situation. Now, what I can't remember, and my apologies, folks, I really do apologize for this, because I have spent a little bit of time not really recording this episode. I think the last episode, episode number 12, I think we mowed field number 32, and I think we possibly collected that grass on camera, or maybe I did that off camera. I can't remember now. But we do have, to date, we do have 6 and 7 planted in wheat. We've got 18 and 19 in canola, and of course we've got our 2 big grass fields up there, 17 and 11 in grass. This is getting sorghum, and then we're going to plant sugar beets on 2 and 3 in this episode. We should be able to knock that out pretty quick, especially with this really wide row crop planter, and then we'll probably move down, maybe off camera we'll do corn down here in field number 20, and then just kind of move this way. I do want to thank quite a few of my viewers who did help answer the questions regarding whether some of these other crop types, like for example the oats and the rye, leave a swath or windrow, and they do, from what I understand. Now, I'm not sure about millet or sorghum. I don't think sorghum does, based on my memory from Farm Sim 15. But I've never planted triticale, and I've never planted spelt or millet. But we're going to plant all of these. We'll find, even if we just do one small field, we're going to plant them all so that together we can sort of find out what they do. So this is the, let's see, what is this? This is part of the Big Bud pack here. This is the Great Plains row crop seeder that comes with the Big Bud pack. What I like about this, now I do have a John Deere row crop, I think it's the DB90. It's a little harder to maneuver, and I've got to thank my dear friend Eustace Farmer. He did a mod review on row crop planters not too long ago, just a couple of weeks ago I believe, and putting sugar beets in the ground, and we've got a great demand for it, so hopefully that will come back around. But he did a mod review on row crop seeders like this, and the John Deere is a little harder to maneuver around because I don't believe the wheels on the back will steer like these do, so that's kind of cool. And this one is a little bit shorter, but that's okay. It's going to work out for us. And we've already got it set on sugar beets, so we're going to go ahead and start getting these seeded in the ground here. So we'll go ahead and drop our seeder. We'll probably just do a and turn it on here. We'll do a row around the edge here, and then come around. And I'm using our little Challenger tractor here. I haven't used it for quite some time, and I've kind of been missing using it. I did purchase it for this map as an alternative when I was trying to figure out the issues with the big John Deere 9 series tractors I was having with Courseplay, and I fixed those problems. I guess it was the John Deere tractors. I've not had a problem with it on the other tractors, on the Kloss tractors. And but then again, I've not really been using Courseplay a whole lot either. I've been using just the default hire a worker, which seems to work fine for plowing, cultivation, and even just seeding. Most likely we will get into some more advanced Courseplay course configurations and stuff once we get to a point to where we need to start harvesting, because that will certainly come in handy in helping to get Billy Bob and Jack coordinated with either running the auger wagon or running just a tractor tipper or just the combine or just whatever we choose to do. There's going to be so much to do once we start harvesting. It's going to kind of be like very similar to all that we've had to do in the spring. You know, we've had almost every day where we've had stuff that we needed to do. Now, it may not have been directly supportive to our needs as far as farming is concerned, or traditional farming. You know, we've spent a good deal of time working on our greenhouses, doing other things, obviously field prep, getting the fields and everything ready to go. And of course, it took forever and a day to get our soil temperature up to 41 degrees, which is what our minimum soil temperature is in order to be able to plant wheat, barley, canola. Obviously, sugar beets is 41 degrees as well. And so we've just really been really taking advantage of the fact that we've had some nice temperatures and had some good weather to work with. We do have rain in the forecast, but that shouldn't be a problem. I'm hoping that we can get these 2 fields done before the rain hits. And our grass is growing back over there, and of course our grass is also growing on our 2 large hay meadows. So I'm sure that kind of once we reach a point to where that we've got these fields done, and I'm going to kind of try to resist the urge to try to resist the urge to mow until after we get our fields done, and then we'll break out the Corona Big M once again and get that going on the big hay meadows. And of course, we're going to be I really hate that those things pop up and stop the vehicle, but anyway, we're going to get those fields going, and of course we will need both just straight grass coming off those fields for silage, for our silage silo, fermentation silo, and then we will also need hay, of course. So we'll get all of that figured out once we sort of get to a point to where that we can start concentrating on some of those other things, some of those other tasks. And of course, we're also having to spend time taking care of our animals. I think what I was going to tell you when I brought up the menu just a few minutes ago was I did go ahead, and again, I can't remember if I talked about this in episode number 12. I think I did, but we did go ahead and increase our dairy cattle up to 250 head. And so that is going to help, because really and truthfully, what our game plan for this map is and what we're making our money and everything on is our dairy. That's kind of I don't know if I really explained that from the onset or not, but in my mind, that's kind of what we're doing basing our operations and everything on is our dairy farm. Some of this other stuff is just in support of that. Of course, we've got pigs, and pigs are, I don't know, pigs are kind of a distraction depending on how you look at it. Because we're playing this map and our game style and everything is a little bit different, you know, I did go ahead and make sure that we had plenty of pig food, and we've got plenty of our other plant or crop types and stuff in storage, so that we can continue to make pig food. But yeah, I mean, the pigs are they're not profitable at all from that standpoint, unless you put in the meat processing mod plant and then basically sell the pigs to the slaughterhouse for meat purposes. That's really the only profit that you're gonna get out of them. If anything, it's going to cost money, because you're going to obviously have your time and your effort and everything in farming, and you've got to count that stuff, folks. I mean, you've got to consider that if you are farming specifically to raise pigs, then everything that you do, every hour of the day that you invest in planting those crops that go into that pig food formula, that is energy, effort, time, money, diesel, wear and tear on your tractors, maintenance, all that good kind of stuff. All of that has to be, as we drive into our hedge here, all of that has to be factored in, because it really is a cost. It's a cost. It's not much profit there. But anyway, if you are interested in pigs for profit, then you're going to most likely want to take advantage of that slaughterhouse mod. And Farmer Klein, our good friend Farmer Klein, did a good review of that and talked about things that you can look to as far as, you know, the numbers of pigs that you really probably should consider raising, and then sort of think about how you're going to have a threshold. And once you sort of achieve that threshold, in other words, as pigs are being born on your farm, you're basically going to be carrying, you know, X number of pigs to the market on a, you know, daily or weekly basis, or however you want to do that. But for us here, you know, this 24 game day challenge is really about fun, and so that's how we're approaching it. And so yeah, so we're just gonna kind of take that approach. And but if I were playing another map, and as an example, the map that we're going to start a new series on just very shortly, I'm not planning on doing pigs on that map, simply because it's just a lot of effort. It's just a lot of hard work. The sheep are profitable. For the most part, because they're simple, they require water and they require either grass or hay, and they produce wool, which can be sold and make a profit off of it. Cows are profitable because while they require a little bit more work, a little bit more effort on our part as virtual farmers, they are profitable in the form of selling the milk at the dairy. So getting pretty good yield off our seeds. We've only used 14% to do 2 fields, so that ought to be that's kind of promising for us, especially when we start looking at planting corn in the big field down there. Of course, we'll have Billy Bob or Jack do that for us. That field's pretty massive, and it will take them a little while to get that done, but they're good workers. I've really enjoyed having them back on the farm here, and of course they will be around for several weeks to come, because my guess is it's going to take us it's going to take me quite a while to play this map out fully. That is, if I do play it fully, and I'm going to try. I certainly didn't mean in my opening 2 or 3 minutes to make it sound as if I was planning on giving up on it. I know me. I know that eventually I sort of start to grow a bit tired and maybe a bit bored with the same stuff day in and day out. But I think that with the other map, the way that I'm going to be doing that, the way that I'm going to be playing that map, I think that I can hopefully keep my interest up, and hopefully that will equate into something good for you guys to watch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and top up our seeds here, I think, and we'll do that, and then we're going to go ahead and move this on down. We've got about maybe 7 minutes or so left for this episode. I'm going to try to keep these episodes at, should have opened the cover there for you. We're going to try to keep these episodes at our 35 minute time frame or so. That's what I enjoy. That's the amount of time that I enjoy spending with episodes. It really helps me in the post-production process in keeping the things short, because that means it's a little bit less to edit. Not that I don't mind editing an hour-long video, but I do know that you guys, your time is valuable to you just as it is to me, and having a little bit shorter episode on my part makes it easier for you guys to watch. You can watch some of the other folks. I hope you do. I hope you watch all of my friends, and as a matter of fact, you can find all of their YouTube channels down below the video screen, as always. I'm sorry about zigzagging back and forth. I will try to slow that down. Well, let me just double check one thing here before I get too gung-ho about heading down. 50 degrees for corn. We can't plant corn just yet, so that was kind of a bad mistake on my part. I was not. I was a bit gung-ho, and I had I believe it would be a good example to say that I had the cart out ahead of the horse here, in thinking that we were going to run down there and get Jack to planting corn when it's only 41 degrees. So we do need to wait just a little while for that soil temperature to come up to 50. As I've said before, you can plant corn, you can plant any of these crops when the temperature is below the minimum temperature. The crops the seeds will not germinate until that soil temperature comes up. And I know that Farmer Klein has had some doubt on his 24 Game Day Series map as to whether or not his soil temperatures were ever going to come up to a degree where he could plant some of those later crops like soybeans, like corn, etc., etc. And I think that it has now started to come up on his map, that temperature, as we sort of drive blind through the tree there. My apologies for that. But if for whatever reason if we're getting late in the very season, and of course we can plant soybeans as an example, we can plant soybeans into the first few days of summer without any problems. So we may just need to do that, if it gets to that particular point. But in any event, I think we're doing okay with how we've got things structured. I think that the two guys, Billy Bob and Jack, they have done an outstanding job in helping to keep productivity moving here on the farm. And I think with all that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode for this game day. I'm kind of thinking that this format might be working. I know I've had a lot of comments from folks. I know early on I was a bit confused as to how I would deliver 24 game day episodes. So in other words, 96 game days. How I would do that? Would it be an episode per game day or just whatever? And I think we've only missed like maybe 1 or 2 game days. I guess maybe 2 game days that we've not really covered. And I think one of those was in a live stream, and then one of them was just some off-camera work that I did. But I think that for right now, this format's kind of working, bringing you at about 30 to 35 minutes or so of coverage from each game day, kind of picking the high spots. Maybe I'll skip some more days when it gets into those dog days of summer when there's not much going on to do. But then, of course, then when the harvest comes around, we're going to be busy with a lot of harvest action. And but anyway, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the map. I really enjoyed Mountain Valley Farm, but I'm kind of glad that that's over because I was getting a bit tired of that map, to be honest. Nothing against the map modder, nothing against anything to do with it. It just, sometimes you just need a new setting. And I'm sure you guys understand that full well. And of course, I'm sure many of you juggle multiple maps. Pretty much everything I play, I turn into Let's Play series for YouTube, just simply because that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy interacting with you guys. I enjoy answering your questions and helping you all out. Now, I need to tell you what the word of the day is for this episode number 13. And I think what we're going to do, since we use the Great Plains row crop cedar, I think that's what we will basically have. The word of the day for today will be Great Plains for that cedar, that row crop cedar that we used. And so that will be the word of the day for episode number 13. And of course, if you are just tuning in and this is the very first episode that you've watched from the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, I am giving away 3 copies of the upcoming Farm Sim 17 Platinum Expansion DLC, and you can enter to win by reading the information down below the video, going to my Discord server channel and getting the rules, and emailing me the code word of the day, which I just gave you, and that was Great Plains. Make sure you check out my other episodes of Snetterton Farm for the other codes. You can enter once per episode, and I will do the drawing on the 6th or 7th of November, so you still have a bit of time to go. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You guys are a wonderful, wonderful audience, wonderful fans, and really, really great friends. I really appreciate you all. And please come back again for episode number 14, and as well as 15 and 16 and 17. And also don't forget to watch for my brand new series, which will be coming up very, very soon. Take care. God bless you all, and good night. Bye-bye.